Hi, thanks for joining. I'm Kamil Kufel, Head of Business Intelligence Department in Boombit. I have prepared a presentation about how we gathered everything in one tool. It allowed us to monitor performance of the huge amount of campaigns, automatize changing bits, and therefore grow exponentially in the last year. For people who don't know us, we are a mobile game developer and publisher. We are very close to reach 1 billion downloads of our titles, and we have both hyper-casual and mid-core games in our portfolio. I encourage you to visit our virtual booth during the conference. You probably need some motivation. You might say that there are plenty of ready, out-of-the-box solutions on the market designed to collect and process data, maybe even automatizing things. They are offered as a part of mobile management partner solutions, but also by other third parties. I would like to briefly describe reasons why we decided to create internal tool instead. First reason, we weren't satisfied with how often data is refreshed and which dimensions or metrics are available in solution in the market. For instance, we wanted to create an alerting system and have our KPIs updated every hour. For some reason, it is impossible in any available solutions. Other example, when iOS 14 landed, we wanted to integrate all SK network data right away, including postbacks and reporting, without waiting for MMPs to prepare integrations. Second reason, we wanted to achieve the highest as possible accuracy. Sources of data sometimes have delays. Sometimes there are other issues causing serious discrepancies in reports. We wanted to be sure that data we work on is complete and up to date. And in any situation when something needs our attention, we wanted to have possibility to manually alter the data by removing unwanted events or revenue or whatever else from the reports. And of course, we wanted to recalculate reports according to the changes. Personally, I don't know the third party allowing to edit their data, which made all third-party dashboards useless for us. Third reason, we need tailored user experience. We wanted to make changes to our dashboard and processes in days instead of firing feature requests to some kind of product teams and then wait months for implementations, hoping that our task landed high enough in their priorities. We know what we want, so why wait when we just can create it by ourselves? And the last reason, automation. We wanted to automate as many things as possible in order to eliminate amount of manual work and risk of making a mistake. Making CTR and CPI tests, creating campaigns, replacing creatives in live campaigns, or changing bits, they all are things which can be automated. To do that, we just need the data in place and of course, some programming. Let's talk about what has to be available in the BI for mobile games and from where we can get it. We need some kind of a burger of data, contains attribution data, InApp revenue, ad revenue, and spend related metrics. As you want granular reporting, the list of required dimensions is long, and the same for the metrics. Our requirements was to be able to calculate everything by our own and don't take any number from a third party on faith. This includes calculating retention based on RAF sessions. The idea can be presented on a diagram. Of course, we need accurate ad revenue, so let's add mediation partner APIs to get data. I will cover that part more later. We also need to connect our MMP to get RAF data for all attributed events like installs, sessions, in-app purchases, and custom events. We are using Data Locker for that. We have to make sure that in-app revenue we see in the dashboard is accurate. So let's connect Google Play and App Store APIs in order to validate data and cover subscription renewals. Finally, we need APIs of all user acquisition networks to pull spend, impressions, and clicks, as well as campaign metadata like targeting, bid, budgets, creatives to our BI. As we want to make automation, we need an option to change bits in network based on our data. Some of networks have APIs for that. For others, we need some workarounds, but for sure it's doable. What we can do next if we have data in place? We can create alerts on Slack when performance of any game or campaign or creative suddenly decrease. Or connect the BI to Looker in order to provide access to data for analysts and UA managers. We use Looker for visualization and data exploration. When it comes to ad revenue, we have a couple of options for pulling data. First one, impression level data via SDK. All major mediation partners offer it as a part of their SDKs. Developer can read the value of every impression right after serving it to the user. It is pretty convenient, as you can use it for SK network conversion values or forward to a third-party service like Firebase to have ad revenue included into A/B test results. If you want to use it to enrich your BI, you have two options. Use MMP solution, but then you'd have to wait until they process data, which usually takes additional day. Or create a data pipeline to collect data by yourself in real time, but it can be tricky to do. The second option is user or impression level daily reports, which can be pulled from mediation partner APIs. Unfortunately, it is not present in all mediations. The benefit over the first solution is easier implementation and more complete data, as you are not relying on data coming from users. There is also a third option called aggregated data. Unfortunately, from time to time, I still see developers using that method to populate their BI. Let me explain why it is bad and why you should avoid it at any cost. Aggregated method splits ad revenue proportionally to all users based on event count. It can be session or ad impression or another event. So sometimes it rewards users who had more sessions or seen more ads rather than users who really watched valuable ads. In the most common scenario, ad type is ignored, so user who watched 10 banners gets the same amount of revenue as user who watched 10 rewarded videos. And the value of the banner, interstitial, and rewarded video is much different. Aggregated method treats all the users the same, so it doesn't matter if it was a first session of the new user or 10th session of the very old user. From our observations, the value of the ads served to users in hyper-casual is highest for the first ads, so we cannot ignore that. And the third issue, as aggregated method treats all users the same, it does not distinguish user source. In fact, the ad ARPU is very different depending on the acquisition network. Organic user very often receives different ads than user acquired through Facebook, so their ARPU will be different, and you cannot ignore that either. We need to make sure in-app revenue we track is also correct. There are many reasons causing discrepancy, like cheaters activity, sandbox purchases, refunds, purchase restoration, subscriptions, using gross revenue to calculate ROI, or network issues resulting in not receiving event at all. It is very common for advertisers to see completely different numbers of the same KPI, like in-app revenue, in store dashboards, MMP dashboard, and analytics dashboards. But it don't have to be like that. I have prepared a checklist for tracking in-app revenue. Thanks to Google Play and App Store APIs, we can fight with the discrepancies quite effectively due to server-to-server notifications. Your server can get notifications about every change, charge, refund, and subscription renewal. If you include receipts in the events sent from the device, you can perform matching with the data from the APIs. In case of refund, you can send an event with negative value to MMP and remove the original purchase from the BI. Notifications are necessary to track subscription renewals, as revenue from them is coming even if user is inactive. It is important to understand the real difference between gross and net revenue. so I dedicated a slide for it. What is usually tracked by MMPs is gross revenue. Sometimes gross revenue deducted by 30% of store commission. But apart of the store commission, there are also country-specific taxes which you cannot ignore doing ROI calculation. We have created a matrix with a gross net coefficients to get accurate in-app revenue in our ROI calculation. For instance, to get net revenue for purchase made by users from Denmark, we need to multiply item price by 56%, because this is what we really receive. These days it is even more complicated as Google Play offers lower 50% commission for first $1 million of revenue. Let's talk about bidding. There are three common approaches. First one, bidding, works if you have small number of campaigns due to limited number of games, or if you just have a not very complicated structure of your campaigns. The second option, CSV files. Some networks allows you to download CSV file with current bits, make changes, and upload file back to the network to apply all the changes. The problem is you still have to manually merge it with your KPIs, which is a lot of manual work. And in case of bidding on subsource level, you might end with CSV files with thousands of rows. Not very cool. Fortunately, there is a third option, automation. We have created a tool named Boombit to solve our issues with managing thousands of bits on a daily basis. Let me show you how it works. Everything starts with preparing a list of bits to be changed. We have created an algorithm named AlgoBit, which calculates all types of bits. For instance, Google Ads needs campaign-level bits, social networks like Facebook or Snapchat are operating on ad set level, and for SDK networks like Plugin or Unity, we calculate country and subsource level bits. And finally, we cover SKI network bits as well. Bits are imported to Boombit automatically using API. Once bits are uploaded to Boombit, UA managers receive a notification and have an option to review all bits proposed by the algorithm. They can sort the dashboard by any metric and filter by any dimension. There is a convenient way to check history of the bit and alter bit proposed by algorithm if needed. We usually review only significant changes as well as our most important campaigns. When everything seems to be okay, UA managers clicks the button to confirm deployment, and here is where the magic happens. Thousands of bits from multiple networks are being deployed in only a few minutes. And the operation can be conducted again if we make changes to AlgoBit and regenerate bits. They can easily check progress of uploading and react in case of errors such as issues with credentials or unresponsive networks. We are making more than 100,000 changes every month. Apart of the bits upload, Boombit is used to check performance of the campaigns on a daily basis. We have implemented multiple solutions making work of the UA managers easier, such as easy access to favorite campaigns, links redirecting user to the network dashboard with the visible campaign automatically selected, so no need to copy ID or name and search it in the network, worrying if you copied the link right. We also provide bit history, difference between numbers provided by MMPs and in the network, and many more not visible on this deck. Let's summarize what we did this year. We have managed to implement many ETL processes and as a result have complete data about yesterday every day by 8 AM UTC plus 0. It was a really game changer for us because MMP solutions forced us to wait at least additional day to have ad revenue. We use Slack for communication in the company, so it is perfect place to be alerted about any anomalies. We have created multiple rules on Slack, which resulted in quicker reactions and money savings. Alerts are sent usually to groups of people, because any recipient can mark alert as viewed this way. Thanks to implementing pooling spend internally, we can observe spend with an 1 hour lag. So in case of any rapid growth of spend for particular app, we can also react almost immediately. It is especially important when advertiser as Boombit has dozens of apps on user acquisition. We have created AlgoBit, algorithm to calculate bits based on the prediction of LTV, which we are using with conjunction with Boombit, tool combining all user acquisition data and actions in one place. And that would be all. Thanks for watching the presentation, and I hope you enjoy it. Here you can find some contact information to me on the screen. Oh, and remember to meet us at the virtual booth during the conference. My colleagues are waiting there for you. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them on the QA session.